Hello to you all, and welcome to Pyramid Energy. I don't know what else to say to you at this stage other than I am really looking forward to this reading. I opened my laptop and saw 11:44 on the clock. 11:44 came up in the very last reading. Okay, it came up in the number 11, I believe it was the diamond. The reading was titled, You're a Diamond. And the next card was number 44, which I believe was Wind Movement. Okay. Then Spirit told me to do a reading using a green deck. And when I looked on the pile, I found the Kipper deck, which is not a deck I use frequently. And I was told to do a chakra reading. So I'm going to lay those cards out. It is difficult for me to explain that this reading started yesterday morning. Okay, so what happened was I woke up with a dubious energy surrounding me. Anyone who's been listening to my readings for some time knows that I do not focus on what's happening outside of me. Okay, this is something that I have been working through in terms of letting that rule go, okay? Letting that rule go, because if there is something that is around us, okay, irrespective of this understanding that we attract our experiences, irrespective of that, I am working towards releasing these rules, okay? Because I've found that they can rather become constraints. And to really trust my own environment, okay, this is me trying to listen to my own advice, to trust my environment and to trust what it is trying to bring forward. Okay, bring to the surface. And so what I didn't have time yesterday to read into that. I had a very busy day. And so today I decided that I was going to read on this. And so what I did was that I pulled two Celtic crosses, one on the left, representing you, and then one on the right representing wherever this dubious energy is coming from. What I found on the left, you, was you trying to figure out what's going on. A lot of water energy. And so a lot of feeling coming through. You trying to decide which way to go, what to actually do. A lot of decision making around, like, what do I want to do? You know, this kind of questioning, Two of Pentacles style. Okay? And at the top of mind, you had the King of Wands, which is like trying to direct your life, trying to direct your vision, okay, to feel more empowered as you proceed in alignment. Then in your advice, I had the 10 of Cups, which was really giving me the message, just embrace this idea of your own wish fulfillment, okay, go for it, is kind of what it was saying. In your surrounding factors, I had the 3 of Swords, which was strange for me because I was like, why 3 of Swords? Embrace your joy. But what's actually happening around you is this 3 of Swords, this need for healing. Okay? Healing, like this heartbreak, the things that are not going right, bringing them to a point of like stability. A lot around that. Okay? In your outcome, I had the only like major arcana that appeared in the entire spread, which was the Empress and the Magician. Okay. Then on the right, when I was looking at what is this dubious energy about, all of the cards were so positive. All of the cards were positive. There were a lot of repeating cards as well. The 10 of Cups showed up. Okay. It showed up in your top of mind. The Ace of Cups, which had showed up in your area of what you want the most and fear the most, came up next to that. Okay, so that's 10 of Cups and Ace of Cups coming out. Almost like the things that are taking place around you and in your subconscious and your outcome were in the dubious energies surrounding factors. Okay, this is a very abstract explanation that I'm sharing, but it is what it is. And once I'm done, I will try and pull it all together to avoid confusion. In the spread for the dubious energy, I had so many major arcana show up. Okay. Starting from 2, the high priestess, that was in your surrounding factors. Okay. So this is around, your psychic ability. This is like an opportunity, the thing that is creating change around you, the thing that's affecting your circumstances. Okay. So I had that. I had card number 3, the Empress. I had card number 4, the Emperor. I had card number 5, the Hierophant. I had all of these cards. A lot of them were speaking to, basically, this is your higher self, okay? This is your higher self trying to present opportunities for you to grasp them. It did become quite circular in the sense that, okay, because also the 3 of Swords came up on that side as well, and so did the 10 of Cups. It became circular in the sense that something is trying to enter your life, okay? But because of your perspective and how you see things and how you interpret your feelings, okay, like e.g. dubious energy, this becomes sort of like a loop. Instead of you focusing on being present, okay, and I do feel like we've shared this message a few times, but it's landing differently today. Instead of remaining present in what you're doing, okay, not just present, the presence, the pleasure of what you do daily, okay, staying in the moment, enjoying that, you tend to focus so much on how you're going to get there. I realize now that I actually journaled about this. I'm just going to read to you what I wrote in the journal as I was processing this dubious energy spread. Okay, what I wrote. What you want wants you to. The dubious energy is all of the questioning in the air, trying to catch your attention and bring you to clarity around what you want. Realize that it will only come into existence once you resolve the how around this. How do you want to feel? How do you want to attain this feeling? Okay, these are the only 2 points they shared. You need to get on with it. Okay. This sounds like impatience. Okay. This is an impatience coming from you, but your higher self is also trying to address this impatience because the solution is there. It's just that this lack of clarity around these 2 questions, how do you want to feel? How do you want to attain this feeling? Those are up in the air as if you have left these to your higher self to decide. Whereas your higher self, okay, in the dubious energy, in the surrounding factors, had the 3 of Wands, which is your higher self is waiting for you to share this, okay? Your higher self is waiting to receive this vision of yours from you. So this will remain up in the air until you decide what it is. Okay, there is this idea of surrendering all of this to the universe, but there you do reach a point where you've got all the tools, you've got all the methods, you've got all the things that you need to attain what you want. However, your perspective is like shaped towards all these things that feel beyond you. Okay, so they're wanting you to decide how you want to feel. Okay, so I want to feel prosperous. I want to feel content. I want to feel like I live my life with ease. I want to feel like safe, within the rules, but I don't want to feel held back by all the rules that I create that are not necessary. Okay, so how do we take care of that? We take care of that by trusting the environment. We trust that the environment wants the best for us and that it is receptive towards what it is we want. Okay, I want to feel like life is easy for me. I don't want to feel like it's difficult. Okay, so that means that you have to stop expecting life to be difficult. Okay, because the more that you expect and feed into the current paradigm, which is telling you that it is difficult, it is toil, it is labor, that is what you're creating. And so what we're actually trying to do here is to interrupt this flow of thought, because this flow of thought is taking place because that's how thought has always been running. Okay, so what happens when we don't interrupt something? It continues to run on the program that it's been given. And so now we're reprogramming, and the question as to how do we reprogram this, instead of just repeating the same thing in our heads, we reprogram it by realizing that we will remain in the loop if we don't shift our gaze. Okay, so now you're aware that your gaze has been looking at all the toil and all the difficulties around what you're trying to get around. Okay, now we're interrupting that flow and we're shifting your gaze towards what it is you enjoy about what you're doing, that's what you actually want to do, and you just like the outcome to appear. Okay, it sounds like we're bypassing here, but we are. I'm sharing it like this because there's this idea about bypassing that is looked at so negatively, and that's correct, because if there's stuff that you really need to heal and align, you shouldn't be bypassing it. You really need to go through it. But you have put in so much work into your mindset and so much work into shedding all these things that no longer serve you, okay? And you found this thing that you love and you know how to do it. And now you know you're a diamond. And now, so you know who you are, but you're still stuck. And the only reason you're stuck is because you are still running on the program that says that things around you are difficult and you cannot bypass this system, and you can. So they're saying you can't change the outcome if you stay focused on the circumstance. Okay, so now you're shifting your gaze. You're acknowledging that, yes, for a long time, you were focused on all the difficulties, all of the obstacles, also the material things in your life, the way they work, the rules that apply to them. Yes, of course, this is the physical reality that we live in and that we are often faced with physically in our vision. Okay, we see it all the time. But now we're taking you back to that fundamental idea of trust, that fundamental pure idea of faith, that if you just stay where you are in the present, the rest will take care of itself. Okay, and that's what I mean by bypassing. I'm not saying don't put in the effort. I'm saying don't let the thing that you love turn into the idea of toil. Okay, how does that happen? You start doing the thing you love and you're already thinking about the outcome, whether it's going to have the result. So now we're allowing the result to be left far off into the future. Okay, I'm not saying create distance and time between you and that. I'm saying just come back to the simplicity of like the way a child lives. A child doesn't think about where their meal is going to come from in a week. Okay, they're hungry now, they eat now. They want to play now, they eat now, they play now, sorry. That kind of thing. And so they don't overcomplicate their mind and their actions with all of these circumstances and realities and all of that. So we're kind of just allowing the inner child to serve us, to work with us in the present moment where we're enjoying everything. Okay, and we're just sort of trusting that food will come when it's time to eat. Food will come when it's time to eat. All the things we want will come. A child tends to have this unreasonable expectation of things just working out. They're saying, we need you to start having that unreasonable expectation that things are going to work out. That's actually what they're saying. The way all of these major arcana showed up was wild. It was wild. It's like for a Celtic cross, you pull 10 cards. 5 or 6 of them were major arcana. When you think about the fact that in the entire tarot, only 22 cards are major arcana, and in total you have 78 cards, the odds just don't say that 5 or 6 will be major arcana. And this was really helping me to understand that there are times where we feel like this dubious energy that enters our space, that it is other people trying to throw like distractions our way, and people, sending black magic our way, whatever it is, however it is that you process it. I'm not denying that that takes place. I'm not, but I am accepting that it is a part of your entire experience, which you are in the process of creating. Okay. There are so many ways that we could explain how a dubious energy comes about. Okay. Just the other day, someone said something to me. I remember where I was. Okay. I did something unusual and I met up with strangers to play board games. Okay. I just happened to come across these people. They invited me to their WhatsApp group chat. And then the one night we met at a pub and I chatted to 6 people I've never met and we played board games. A lot of the discussion was around programming and computer science, data, what do you call it? Software engineers is what a lot of them are. So obviously this kind of conversation at times felt a little bit beyond me, but I was able to keep up. And a point that this lady made was that there are many ways to write coding, okay? You could write coding in like 1 line, okay? And someone else could write coding in 100 lines. But the way they look at it is that if, neither of these lines are wrong if the outcome is fine, right? And so there are many ways of reaching the same solution. The difference is that, if someone comes along and they've never seen, like, let's say the program or whatever's been written or whatever, the shorter program can become hard to work with because you don't really understand how we got there because you've left a lot of the detail out. And so the longer lines, the 100 lines of coding are helpful in the sense that they're better able to explain and share detail on, with the person who's working with the information to problem solve. Okay. That doesn't say that the 1 line doesn't solve the problem. They both solve the problem, but they sort of serve different purposes depending on who's using the coding. Okay. And so this feels like that to me because when we talk about coding now, we can relate this to the idea of programming. And when we talk about manifesting, okay, and how we're creating our experiences, there are so many ways of looking at it that have the same result. However, it feels to me like you are still working with the 100 lines when you already, are kind of at the point where you can just work with 1 line. You don't need all the other detail. And so this is not bypassing. This is just not allowing yourself to get stuck and stifled. My words were running away with me. Stuck and stifled in the 100 lines. You already know that this is going to work. All those 100 lines can tend to confuse you because they have so much noise, so much clutter on all the obstacles. You can just stick with the 1 line. Okay. And so now I'm coming back to my journal where I said, you need to just get on with it. Okay. With what? I asked. And the answer was with manifesting, being a magician. How I got to the magician was that was the only one of the major arcana from like 1 to 5 that wasn't in the first spread. It was like new. Okay. What are you actually concocting in your lab? Okay. So now I was picturing a magician in his lab, pouring all these like liquids and solutions and creating stuff. And so the question is, what are you actually concocting? Okay. There you are with all your liquids and your, vials of this and that. What are you making? And they said, you're already manifesting. Okay. So you are already making something, but what are you making? So I asked, am I doing it wrong? And they said, yes. Okay. And so then I asked, so what should I be doing? And they said, you should be focusing on what you seriously want to heal. Correct. Stabilize. Put right in your heart the things that you want. Okay. Be straight. Be direct about them. You need to be gung-ho about them. Pursue them. Push through the dark and be a doer. Okay, to be a doer. And what are you meant to do? You're just meant to do the thing that you love and just do it and get on with it and stop worrying about whether this solution, this liquid is going to find its way into the right little corner of the vial and create you already know that if you put this with that, it creates that solution. And so all you're then doing is trusting that that's going to work. Okay. Like red plus blue equals purple. Okay. You're not having to think about what makes up red. and what makes up blue. For example, this sounds like red pill, blue pill. You don't actually have to start from scratch each time figuring out what creates all these things. You've got the blue and you've got the red, and now put them together. And if you put them together, at some point, it's going to come right. The difference between you and, I suppose, a magician who doesn't know how long something's going to take is that you have this red and blue process of pouring the stuff together is something you enjoy. And so just focus on the enjoyment of it rather than all the timing and all the detail about the stuff you're putting in. And I wrote here, trust everything will follow, but in your action taking, just be a doer. Just do what you love and stop solving. Know you're creating the outcome you desire and stop trying to control the how and the journey of it. Let the chemical reactions do their own work. A part of me is feeling like I just need to get all of this into this recording because there's so much. I've now returned to the spread that's in front of us. This spread, okay, starting off from the marriage card, tells me that you are in a commitment now, okay? You are in your desired commitment now. You're exactly where you're meant to be. Some of the thoughts that came up with this is the nurturing of stability in a relationship being born through intention. Okay, so what happens when a person gets married or when two people get married? They're actually engaging in like the promise to stay with their intention that they started off with, okay? To grow with each other, yes, but also all the ugly is part of it. All the ugly is part of it, but all the goodness comes from it too, right? And so you are here. And this number 3 is also giving me this feeling of balance. And so you are in the right place. You are in the right place. You're just not looking at it in the right way, okay? Look at your sacral chakra. This is what you're creating. Great fortune. I'm not even going to try and shift the context of this reading and these cards because they are all speaking directly to this idea of creating prosperity through your life and right in your heart I have toil and labor through your work, okay? Through this work that you do that you love, okay? And so what you are creating right now is this idea of treasure. Look at all that gold, okay? This idea of treasure. You are sort of creating stuff out of this gold that you've mined, okay? And that you're continuing to mine and you've got enough to share. Look how it's just pouring out of this vase of hers, okay? In your solar plexus, I've got courtship, which for me is speaking to the nurturing of this by showing up, nurturing it and getting to know it and not presuming to already understand it. Okay. It's you and another person. By this, I mean, it's like almost like you and the dubious energy. Yeah. It feels like you're alone here, but it's actually you getting to know the aspects of you that you don't know already. You're already committed to yourself. We know this. But we're saying that don't approach this new version of yourself as if you know it, because what's happening is you're projecting so many of your circumstances and the things that you've been through on this new version, when this new version is just arriving every single day. This new version of you is just arriving, just showing up, asking you to get to know it. It's also trying to get to know you. And so this idea as well that your higher self knows everything, I think is something that we need to put aside for now, because it is also a way of sort of relinquishing your responsibility to learn yourself instead of actually, inheriting that responsibility and starting to be more accountable for the fact that you're getting to know yourself. And so this leaves the mystery open, but is not disempowering in the sense that you are just a servant here, showing up, let's say daily or in each moment to achieve something you cannot see. Okay, so there's a sort of a real perspective shift we're working with here. And I believe that's why I'm really more talking more than I am interpreting cards and all of that. And so if you look in the heart, we have toil and labor. The card toil and labor can really make you feel like you're in a factory Okay, this card has a bit of a Cinderella feel to it, okay? Which means that there's a fairy godmother and there's a Prince Charming. It's got all the things, but it just depends how you look at it. And so this feeling in your heart, there is that heaviness around showing up when you don't know whether what you actually want and what you're putting all your effort into is going to reap anything. Is it going to give you that prosperity that you're after? Okay, there is that sense, but look right underneath it. I had to pull another card, unexpected income. Okay. And look at that 26 and 27, the great fortune and the unexpected income. It just feels like you're one step away from achieving this thing that your heart wants. It's right underneath. It's in the layer beneath, and it's going to arrive in an unexpected moment. It's unexpected. And so stop expecting it, because it's not going to show up while you're expecting it. Okay. Even though you expect it to change, your gaze needs to shift. So yes, you're expecting it, but stop staring at it because it's just going to show up. Do you understand what I'm saying? And how's it going to show up? In your throat, I have change, which this carriage is taking me right back to the marriage card. Besides the fact that carriage and marriage rhyme, there is this chariot appeal to the card. And we know that the Empress and the Emperor ride in the chariot. And it's kind of like, the Empress and the Emperor are in this courtship within you, and they're having this conversation where they're getting to know each other. And so this is like the part of you that's able to create abundance and multiply things. The Empress is trying to get to know this aspect of you that feels empowered and knows how to contain all of your value within it. Okay. So you're getting to know this aspect of yourself. It's not something that's going to arrive from someone else and land on your lap in that sense. It could, but not from your side of things. Stay open to learning more about what this union within you is going to bring about. Okay. And so this is building number 9 through changing your conversations with yourself and what's actually happening, through changing the things you say as you're riding in this carriage, in terms of the destination you're headed in. On the clock, I have 2727, which is also taking me back to this unexpected income. But this false person, number 8, is speaking to me about how your third eye can sometimes deceive you. Okay. What happens is, our third eye can feed us with a lot of information. It is up to the crown. It is up to the head. It is up to the mind what it is we want to create. Just like a magician. A magician is in their lab with so many vials, with so many types of liquids available, but they're going to choose which solutions they're going to put together, right? And so while you are nurturing this relationship and moving in your momentum, don't be fooled by some of the thoughts that just come up for you. It's your responsibility to sift through these things. They exist. It's similar to what I said about the 100 lines of coding. Okay? Don't get slowed down by reading through all that coding when you already understand which line is quicker and which line is going to serve you and which line is already correct. The fact that the other stuff is true is actually not the point. You don't need to read through all of that stuff. It's just going to slow you down. And this is all confirmed in the crown. It says distant horizons, except it's in reverse, which to me is saying that you are headed somewhere amazing, somewhere large. Okay. But stop telling yourself that this is very far away. Okay. You are headed somewhere far away, but not in sort of the time that you've told yourself you need to wait to get there. So this is what it's telling me there. This is what this spread is saying to me. This is saying to me that everything that you want is already within your grasp. Whenever you sense this dubious energy trying to creep up on you, don't get sucked into what the meaning of that is. Okay, it is there, and it's actually just your higher self working in interesting ways to get you to focus down on the things that you do want. Okay. So it's actually there to like, it reminds me a bit of this, what do they call that angel of death that comes in to like clear up all the spirits that need to leave the earth? I forgot what they call that. I don't think it's the Grim Reaper or whatever, but it's a scary seeming type of thing. But when things are ready to die, it's that angel that needs to come and collect them. Okay? So this entire message that I feel like could have taken me an hour to explain, it's taken me 30 minutes if you're still with me. I'd like for you to invite your motivation back into your world, back into your life, okay, in a very open and sort of non-clinging way. Enjoy the thing that you do. Stop telling yourself that this thing that you're doing may not take you anywhere, okay, because that's what you're putting into the program. You're feeding the program. I'd like for you to really embrace the simplicity and this childlike manner of believing things are going to come together and not needing to be convinced, expecting it. You're there, okay? You're there. You're just needing to move out of your own way and shift your gaze towards the thing that you love doing. And every time you approach it, I see you every time you approach it wondering if this is when it's going to happen. Okay, well, for as long as you do that, what you're expecting is not going to rise to the surface. Okay, it's hidden under the surface. It's just hidden. It's trying to rise up, but it needs to remain that. It needs to remain unexpected. Okay, it's a very tricksy thing to sort of get the mind and the body around, to get the human around. But this is one of the ways in which bypassing really helps you if you know that the long route and the short route lead to the same place. Okay, you've traveled the long route many times. It's as if once you get to the door, it's that dubious energy that makes you think you need to travel that road again, and you don't. It's the one line of coding versus the 100 lines. Same result. Believe it. I hope that you found this channeling helpful, okay, and that it provided you with clarity on where your perspective is catching you out. I believe that you will know exactly who you are if this reading is for you. This reading was not meant to cause any confusion. The way that everything was said and everything was structured is literally tailored to the person that this is meant for. And you will understand if that is you. If it is not you, please do not force it. And if it is you, absolutely everything I said applies. Should you wish to support the channel and can, you are so welcome. And the details are in the description box below. I seriously feel like this entire reading has been pushing me forward with my speech and everything inside of me the entire time. Sending you all so much love.